video. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight my first impressions of the Huawei MediaPad X1. So I've been using this nonstop, um, literally nonstop. I have not touched pretty much any other device, and I've been trying to use this one for everyday things. I've definitely not used my iPad because I really don't have a need to with such devices in the middle. You wouldn't really need to use a tablet. So just to recap, the Huawei MediaPad X1, some things that some people might want to know. The weight of the device is 239 grams. The thickness is 7.2. Really thin. Here's the overall look of the device. That's what it looks like on the outside. You've got all the buttons, or all the access is on this side here. SD card, volume, power, and SIM tray. So that's where your main components are. And on the front, you've got this gorgeous full HD display sitting at 1200 by 920. And it's very nice, very sharp. I actually have the brightness all the way down, as you can see there. And it's still extremely clear. Outside, this phone really does well, though, I will say that. So it has an enhanced sound, DTS to be exact, 16 gigs on board. It takes up to a 64 gig card is what I've got in there. One main question that I've been getting is, does it work on LTE? Well, this the LTE version of this won't work in the US. So if you buy that version, you might just be buying it because you want 32 gigs of storage built into the device, because that's the only difference that I've seen. So if I were you, you're going to buy this device, the link is in the description. You can just get it for $312 and save yourself like 70 bucks for something that you can just get an SD card for that. But this does work on 4G and 3G for T-Mobile. One question I had was, did it drop to Edge at all? This device has never dropped to Edge. Pretty much you can get 3G. Well, I shouldn't say you can get it everywhere, but where we are, there's LTE everywhere. So that's why I'm able to get HSPA Plus pretty much all the time. When the phone idles down and you're not surfing, it looks like it just drops to 3G. But as soon as you start surfing, it goes up to HSPA Plus, and that's good enough. So if you're thinking of not buying the device because you think the speeds are not good for surfing, well, the speeds are really good for surfing. And I'll just do a quick demo here of this. Is over the T-Mobile's network. You can see how it loads the pages. It's not loading it that much slower than any other device. So let's click on the link here. Oh, there we go. Couldn't see it at the angle. So surfing on the device is gonna be acceptable, very acceptable. It's gonna be just like surfing over anything else. I'll do some speed tests next to an LTE device later on, but this is my first impressions. I've kept the Wi-Fi off pretty much and used it just with the T-Mobile internet, and it's plenty fast. It's, the pages are loading, and that's not a reason. If you're considering not buying it, that's not a reason not to buy it to me, because surfing the web, as you can see here, I'm surfing over their 4G network. It says 3G, but the data portion says H+, which is HSPA Plus. So that's kind of weird, but the signal says 3G all the time. It's full 3G all the time, but the data is something that you can turn off in a separate spot here. So maybe that's because if I turn that data off, the 3G signal will remain. But the data portions, it's on HSPA Plus when I'm surfing, and it's plenty fast. It's good enough. I mean, it's what more do you want out of your web surfing experience? And because I do have LTE devices, LTE, and it's just as fast. I don't see anything wrong with the web browsing. It's good. Because I focus on this because this was a question that a lot of people kept asking. What about the web browsing? house the LTE and things like that. And I tell them, you know, this is the 3G version, but you'll get 3G and 4G on T-Mobile, and you'll definitely get it good on AT&T. So as you can see here, I'm loading a full web page over this 3G, 4G connection with T-Mobile, and it's not having any problems. It loaded that full web page, and it's good. So if web browsing, if the connection, what you thought would be an issue for you, I'm here to tell you that you can safely get this device and surf the internet over your 4G network with T-Mobile, or even your 3G when it drops down sometimes. You'll be perfectly fine with it. And the reason that I say that is because that's primarily what I've been doing with this device, is surfing the internet. Because I don't have to have the bigger iPad mini around as much. I really hadn't used it at all. As a matter of fact, to be honest, I'm recording the video with the iPad mini, and that's kind of how I've been using it lately. I recorded another video with the iPad mini, so I thought, you know what, I'll just use the iPad mini to record videos for this, since I haven't really been using it. But the battery life, how have I been impressed with the battery life? Well, my first test, I'll show you here. I got just over 10 hours, and then I put it in the safe mode, or whatever you call it, the power saving mode. Let me see, where do I get it at? No, that's not it. I had taken some screenshots of it. Here it is. So I got 10 hours and basically 20 minutes with this of screen on time. That's amazing. There's not a lot of devices that can do that. So with 10 hours of screen on time on a device, and I think, as you can see there, I had about 5% left. What more could you ask for out of a device? This device has a 5,000 milliamp battery, and you know, that's about the best that you can get on such a thin device like this, in the size of the device, and it's got a full HD display. So that's a really good battery. As you can see here, I do have it on 4.4.2, and after I got an update, okay, so when I first unboxed the phone, I thought that the update was 4.4, but it wasn't. It was just a system update, since I had just powered the phone on. So then I manually updated it to 4.4.2. Be sure to check that video out if you have it, or considering getting it, and you know, you're wondering if it's going to get 4.2, where it's already out. So you can get KitKat as soon as you get the phone. I put up a very simple instructions video to upgrade to KitKat. Several people have already done it, and they're saying, wow, it's much faster, it's more fluid, and they're telling the truth. And I'm here to tell you it's right. But last night I got this update, and you know, obviously it's in Chinese, so I have no idea what it says, but it looks like it's just upgrading some things and fixing. I see Wi-Fi in there, I see 3G only in there, so those are a few things probably. And it can scroll, but you know, you can't take a picture of it while scrolling. But it updated again. I want to show you one more thing while I was in here. If you were to use power saving mode, you can get, like, if you were to leave power saving mode on all the time, you can get 70 hours out of this thing. But I'm averaging about 29 to 30 or so hours out of a full charge, with about 10 hours or more of screen on time. And I think that's pretty good. So for what I've been using it for, I haven't done as much media content as I thought I would. I've been doing a lot of web surfing and some gaming. Not heavy and graphic intense games, but you know, just some billiards and you know, stuff like that. So but mainly I've been using this for web browsing, and I think if you're getting a device like this, you're probably going to do it for media content, battery life, and web browsing. I did test the camera. The camera is fantastic on this device. I think it's one that would definitely keep you interested in using the device daily. So I posted some pictures on online of me with this to the side of my head, and you know, immediately people was like, "What in the world?" But you know, I don't use it like that. Someone wanted to see that. Let's see if I can find the pictures. I don't know if I have them on here. I might not have them on here, but I posted some pictures of me online with this on the side of my head, and people were like, "Oh my God, that thing looks like it looks crazy upside your head." Well, you know, obviously I don't use it like that. Um, I don't keep this on the side of my head. There it is. I'll show it to you. I wouldn't use this way. I wouldn't use it like that. That's looks crazy. I just wouldn't use this. I mean, it looks crazy, and I have big hands, but I've actually used it like this in the house. Um, and no one can see me but my family members, and they just look at me like, oh, that's just another gadget that he's got. But I gotta admit though, the call quality, I've been really impressed with it. It's not, you won't be disappointed with the call quality. It's if you choose to use it like this. But I use actually this Bluetooth, a small Motorola Bluetooth headset that I use, and that's how I've used it. And Bluetooth call quality is just fantastic as well. So I wouldn't recommend that you walk around like with this big old thing on the side of your face. But if you choose to, and it's your only device, that's up to you. I don't think it looks silly because I'm not going to judge someone for what they are doing. But people always have something to say, and that's just how it is. So first impressions of the device, I actually have been doing more web browsing than I thought I would with the device. I didn't think I would do that much web browsing because I do a lot of web browsing on my computer, when I want to do some serious web browsing. But I've actually been doing tons of web browsing right from the phone because really I think what I've been doing is testing the connection. I've tested the connection all over the place, and it hasn't dropped signal. It hasn't abandoned me. It got slow a couple times, but again, that's probably when it dropped to 3G for a second or two, but then it goes straight back to 4G. So it's not an LTE device. For those that have sent me tons of messages on that in inboxes, it's not an LTE device, but it's a 4G, 3G device. And on T-Mobile's network, that's really fast. I ran some speed tests. Sorry about that, guys. I ran some speed tests, and the speed tests don't show, like, you can see how I'm surfing the web here, and it's acceptable speeds. They're getting the job done. But the speed test, I had an issue with another phone that I reviewed with a speed test application gave really low speeds, but these speeds that are loading on this website are satisfactory. They're good. I mean, how fast do you want your phone to be when you're surfing the internet? You've got to have some kind of drawbacks, and as powerful as this phone is, unfortunately, it's not available in the U.S. So you got to settle for 4G speeds and 3G speeds. But this is good enough. So the speed thing, speed test app, it just didn't produce the speeds. I think the most I got was maybe 7 or 8, but that's still fast. That's still fast. It's not 40 like I get on LTE devices, but the web browsing on them is just as fast. So compared to my LG 90, it's over there. I won't get it, but the LG 90 is a 4G device, and I thought that web browsing experience was not too good overall, but now having this device, I can see how good it really is because it's about the same. So it's just a matter of what you want, and most people focus on connection. Some people focus on hardware. People have all different reasons why they buy a device. I like to experience different kinds of devices, and this was definitely an eclectic device to purchase. I'm glad I got it in my catalog, and this is just my initial impressions. But needless to say, I'm impressed. I need to point out some things that someone pointed out in a question in one of the updates. So after you upgrade this to 4.4.2, the DPI goes from 320 to 400. So which means certain apps aren't compatible basically, and Google Plus is one of them. So I had a guy say, hey, I can't get Google Plus. It won't let me install the application. Well, technically, this isn't, and again, this isn't something that's that important to me. I use Google Plus all the time, and everything that I've been doing on Google Plus has been from the web browser. You can still upload photos, check all your notifications. It's all the same. It's just from the web. So if you think that's a big deal, hey, that's you. But there's always an alternative. Some applications are not compatible, but you can always use the web version of it. So I like it, and that's about where it stops. I don't know how to put it any other way. I actually like the device, and I think you would too if you were to pick one up. So my first impressions are, I like it. Well worth it for me as of this point, and I think I'll probably use the heck out of this thing. Take care, guys.